What a paradox! Each of us say equality is must, there should be equality around, but all around us there is inequality. Inequality in the form of wealth distribution, in the form of job opportunities, in the form of educational opportunities, and in the form of any kind of basic livelihood that is required. Now, when there is so many inequalities around, understanding what actually is equality, what are the various concepts that have been laid forward, becomes very, very important. So there had been various views under Marxism, liberalism, feminism, and so on and so forth, which we would be discussing in this lesson. But the idea is whether we are trying to create a equal platform for all, or whether we are trying to minimize the inequality that exists in the society. And this is one of the major themes of this session today. So let's understand about the roots of inequality. If we look on to the global picture and the global indices on inequalities, we would understand that top 50 people, just top 50 individuals across the globe, own an equal amount of wealth as owned by 40 crore poor people. So there is where you have the understanding of the inequalities. First we understand the inequalities, and then only we would be able to comprehend what kind of equality is required and why it is so necessary and important for us. Let's take another example. If we talk about the rich people, just 5% of the rich people, or rather let's take just 10% of the population which is rich, controls nearly 54% of the global income. On the other hand, if we talk about the poor population, 40% of the population that is there has access to only 5% of the global income. And again, this is the inequality. So with huge lot of population that is there, among the poor, you have just 5% of the income, in contrast to merely 10% of the population, which has 54% of the income, or the wealth distribution, which is more than half of the world income. With this disparity that is there, we need to understand that the rich becomes the powerful, and he is able to dictate his terms in the political scenario and bring things to power. So again, when the things are in power, they are being guided by the objectives of a advantageous few rather than the masses, and that again further deepens the root of inequality. So it's a kind of vicious circle where a poor gets poorer and a rich gets richer. Again, if we look about onto the world distribution across globe, between the developed nations vis-a-vis the LDCs, or the less developed nations, we would see that 25% of the world population resides in North America and Europe, and with just this 25% of the population, 80% of the economy, 80% of the industries, and 80% of the world consumption patterns are owned by these nations. So you have a huge lot of disparity where 80% of the usage of the production that goes in is meant for just 25% of this population. Similarly, if we talk about maternal mortality rate, it is as high as 1 in 18 in the countries like Nigeria, in contrast to 1 in 8,700 in Canada. So again, there is difference in the healthcare scenario. Also, two-thirds of the global emissions of carbon dioxide in the form of greenhouse gases that we call these days. So the global temperature rise is being occurred by the developed nations, and two-thirds of this consumption is from the developed nation. So again, be it on the front of environment, as we said, be it on the front of healthcare, be it on the front of income opportunities, all of these are highly divided in the society. Now if we look on to why there is inequality, a very simple answer we could say is, implicitly, human beings are creation of God. And if we say human beings are creation of God, equality is one of the most essential key elements that each of us is bestowed with. It could be in the form of moral ideas, it could be in the form of political ideas, but there has to be equality on some front on the other. But what we actually witness is a different scenario. On one side there is slums, but on the other side there are luxury housings. Similarly, on one end you have seen people wasting food, and on the other hand people dying of starvation. So there is where we have a huge gap between the issues of equality and inequality. If we talk about the 18th century ideas, and it was the French Revolution that impacted the globe first, and there was where the ideas of liberty, equality and fraternity started. And later on, when it was 20th century, most of the Asian and African nations were struggling for independence. And this struggle for independence has a deep rooted cause, and that was equality. Equal opportunities, equal rights, and equal powers to be given. Still, after independence, civilizations and nations have witnessed that there has been inequality which is deep within the society. Now, what kind of inequality still we see that exists? This is in the form of unequal opportunities to, let's say, Dalits, unequal opportunities to women. You have marginalization of the tribal group, the forest belt, the people living in the slums, the squatters, vis-a-vis those who can actually afford and have a well-off life. So what is required under equality is a level playing field for all. Now again, when we focus on the issue of equality, our sole concern is to eliminate the differences that are there in the society, to bring in an acceptable solution by the masses, to achieve a decent level of equality or a minimum level of justice and a just society for most of the individuals. And in order for this, there have to be various policies that are taken into account. So usually, if we say the Prime Minister of a nation or a special army officer gets certain special facilities or provisions, we do not say that is against equality. That is as per the things that are required at that post in order to fulfill the basic requirements of a common man. So, we do not call that as an unequal distribution. But yes, if a child is born in a slum and is not able to get an education, a decent level of education, just because he is not born in a family that can afford education, that definitely brings up inequality. And when we are trying to address this equality, we are trying to treat everyone on a just platform, and there should be a differently just treatment for all. What do we mean by differently just treatment for all? Let's say there are two children, child A and child B. Now this child A belongs to an well-off family or an affluent family, can afford the basic fees for the schooling. However, this child B cannot afford this basic fees for the schooling. What would happen? There would be a simple aspect that this child who cannot afford should be given priority, should be given free education and a right to education. However, a child who can definitely pay for it should be asked to pay for it. But at the end, we can have both the childs who get at least the basic education till school level, and that is where we are trying to make a just platform or an equal platform for both. Also, when we are talking about equality, it clearly does not mean elimination of differences. If differences are there in the society, they would remain. But the idea is to minimize those differences. Now, what kind of differences actually remain in the society? So, when we are talking about equality, we focus on equality on three fronts. The first is opportunities. Now, when we are talking about opportunities, let's say a child wants to become a lawyer, a cricketer, a musician, or a doctor, or an engineer. Does that child has the opportunity to do that? So the first thing we focus on is opportunities. Now, opportunities is an aspect which helps a person to develop the inbuilt skill or the talent that an individual has. And with this skill and the talent that an individual has, they can further go for the related education. They can have that basic requirements that are to be fulfilled in order to basically meet what they want to be in the future. The next aspect is natural equality. Now this is something that is practically not possible. You have natural differences that are there. Now these differences could be in the form of, let's say, physically challenged students. This could be in the form of mentally challenged students. So this is a natural inequality that exists in the society. And as we said, we are not trying to eliminate all form of difference, and we practically cannot eliminate this form of difference. This is and would be there in the society, but what we can do is we can reduce these kind of differences by giving them the best opportunities and the best platforms. So let's say with the help of research and technology, even Stephen Hawking was able to do his research. So there is where we are trying to break this bondage of natural inequality. The third type of inequality that we most often see around us is socially produced inequality. This socially produced inequality is an inequality which is created by the society, exists in the society, and is witnessed by the society. What does this mean? This means that a person who actually performs, let's say, an intellectual work over a manual work is given higher respect in the society, and this inequality is produced by the society itself. This inequality is created by the society, exists in the society itself. So there are similar numerous examples which are socially produced. It could be produced based on your caste, creed, ethnicity, or any other background. But what are the dimensions of equality are furthermore interesting. So when we focus on the dimensions or the pillars of equality, we focus on three basic dimensions. And what are those? Those three basic dimensions are, firstly, a political dimension. Now this political dimension focuses on legal hurdles and constitutionally given rights. So Constitution says that there should be right to vote as an equal opportunity for all, minimum wages, freedom of belief, equal justice to all, no discrimination based on caste, color, creed, or race, and then you have the right for citizenship. So what kind of equality we are talking here? We are talking about a political equality. The next is a social equality. As we said, under a social equality, we focus on minimum wages, a minimum amount of wages that a person must get, and we are trying to discourage if a person from getting higher education, then this is a social inequality. So a social equality promotes providing people with equal access to healthcare, basic access to healthcare, education, minimum wages, job opportunities. So government has various schemes and policies for the same. Each of the country brings in the policies and reforms based on the needs and the requirements of the nation. The third important inequality that we focus on is the economic inequality. Now this talks about the distribution of the wealth, the distribution of the property or the income between the various individuals or the classes. And Gini's coefficient is one of the coefficients through which we try to understand the economic inequalities, and that we would understand in more detail in our lectures in economics. But just for basic understanding of creating this economic equality is important, where we are trying to see the two important things. First of all, either we understand those who are below poverty line, so we try to create at least a basic living standard for all, so that there is none below poverty line. So that is either one criteria, or the second criteria is the relative difference that exists between the rich and the poor should be reduced. So we are trying to minimize this relative difference between the rich and the poor. So under economic equality, we either reduce the difference between rich versus poor, or we try to uplift the people below poverty line. So either of those ways we are trying to bring in economic equality. Now there have been various theories which focus on bringing a level playing field, and each of these theories focus on different aspects. So let's talk about some of those today. Now the first theory focuses on feminism. Now feminism is a political doctrine indeed which focuses on equal rights between men and women. So far, it was traditionally or conventionally believed that women play an important role in the personal or the private life. However, males play a dominant role in the public life. So that was one of the positions. The second position was there are biological differences between men and the women, because of which women are asked to take care of the household work. Now these two are the things that were raised under feminism, and it was believed that all form of spheres, be it a personal life or be it a professional life, should be eliminated, and gender inequalities wherever they exist should be eliminated. So this was the first cause where we were focusing on removing of the three types of inequalities we have read. We were trying to minimize the social inequalities or enhance the social equality. The next important form that we focus on is Marxism and liberalism. What was the difference between two? So let's focus on Marxism first. So Marxism basically talked about a society where inequality is deep rooted. Now what happens? According to Marxism, owners have created a land or a place where wealthy or one who owns is much more influential in contrast to the poor. And the one who holds most of the wealth has more political power, and one who has more political power ultimately creates or influences the political processes or the policy making, and finally creates a threat to the democratic system. So this was what was the view of Karl Marx, who was considered to be one of the major socio-political thinkers of 19th century. I repeat again his idea. He believed that we have to reduce inequality, and one who owns is a wealthy person. One who is a wealthy person has more political powers. One who has more political powers is more likely to influence the policy making. And since the wealthy group is trying to influence the policy making, it would create a threat to a democratic system or a democratic platform. So, social and economic inequalities must be reduced. And once the economic inequalities are reduced, there would be a level playing field for all. So that was the idea of Marxism. The next idea was given by under liberalism. So liberalism said competition in a free and fair society is a must. And with this competition, let's say it could be for educational purpose, entrance exams, for other purposes, opportunities for getting into a job. So all those, if it is free and fair, it would bring in the best mass, and equal standards of living and equal opportunities to all is something that should be taken care by the state. So state would intervene wherever it is required for providing equal opportunity to the masses, for bringing up the basic minimum standards of living. So that idea of liberalism focuses on an efficient way of life with much more fair way of distributing resources and rewards, because those who actually deserve would be part of it, and those who does not deserve or do not deserve would be slowly and gradually moved out of the system. So the idea is to maintain equality by seeing who actually deserves and who actually can perform better than other. Also, under liberalism, it was believed that democracy helps to provide political equality. But when it comes to social equality or economic equality, there have to be different strategies and different policy makings that is required to promote social and economic equalities in the society. The fourth important aspect after feminism, Marxism, liberalism is socialism. Now, socialism simply says that we must distribute the resources justly or equal. And when we say we are trying to distribute the resources on an equal platform, we are minimizing the inequality. And this minimizing the inequality is something that emerged as a socio-political idea in response to the inequalities that were present mainly in the industrialized capitalized societies. So in an industrialized capitalist society, the kind of inequalities that grew up with industrial revolution was something that was addressed under socialism. So socialism definitely focused on bringing a just society for all, minimizing the inequality. Now, under this idea of socialism, Ram Manohar Lohia, who is one of the major socio-political thinkers in India, gave an interesting concept of Sapta Kranti. His concept of Sapta Kranti or 7 revolutions have been very, very interesting. He focused on 5 revolutions and later added 2 revolutions to make his Sapta Kranti. So, the later 2 editions, which were in the form of civil liberties, were first of all reducing reducing violence or bringing in a revolution for non-violence, and secondly, renunciation of weapons. So those were removing any kind of weapons if you have, and reducing any kind of violence that exists. This could be domestic violence, this could be violence in a democratic life. But the idea is to curb or to bring up prosperous civil rights that are there. The other 5 inequalities that Ram Manohar Lohia addressed were, firstly, the inequality that exists based on gender, so men versus women. The second was the idea of inequality that exists because of skin color. The third was the inequality based on caste. The fourth was the inequality based on the colonial rule that had been in certain nations for ages and centuries and decades. And the fifth important one was the economic inequality that exists. So he said there should be removal of gender inequality, inequality based on the skin color, so blacks and whites. The third was the inequality based on caste, inequalities into the psychological makeup of an individual because of colonial rule, inequalities because of economic opportunities or economic distribution. Then finally, after these 5, he said there is again a need for the civil liberties that is there, because there have been encroachment in the public sphere of life, the private sphere of life, and there is where he focused on reducing violence and reducing the use of weapons. So his Sapta Kranti mission was very, very important. Now, what are the ideas through which we can say we can promote equality? So we focus on 3 ideas, and what are those 3 ideas? The first one is establishing a formal equality. What do we mean by a formal equality? Formal equality means the people from, let's say, a lower caste should be allowed for jobs. Women should be allowed to enter into work. Similarly, Dalits should be allowed to take up the tasks that are meant for others as well. So what Constitution did here was provide or remove any kind of discrimination based on religion, race, caste, creed, or gender, or place of birth. So all of these kind of hurdles were reduced or abolished, and untouchability was abolished. So Constitution plays a major role in bringing or establishing a formal equality. The next is equality through differential treatment that we have already said. The people who require special treatment should be treated differently, and that is required. We cannot say that all of the people should be treated equally. Treating everyone equally and treating those with the required basis is different. So let's say there is a physically challenged person, the treatment or the facilities that would be given would be far different. So equality should be through differential treatment. And this talks about, simply you can say, developing or establishment of ramps in public places, equal opportunities for men and women, making environment safe for women so that if there is a night shift, the women can easily go and work. So those are kind of equality through differential treatment. The next is affirmative action. Now what do we mean by affirmative action? Affirmative action basically implies positive steps that are taken. Now what kind of positive steps do you think we can take? Simply said, if we are trying to develop a specific group of society, let's say scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, or tribal groups, what we do is we are trying to provide reservations. So affirmative action talks about focusing on reservations, providing scholarships, hostel opportunities for school students, easy admission, no fees for education, higher education, providing funds for promotion, and providing basic livelihood facilities to their family, helping the family in order to sustain their livelihood, removing any kind of social prejudice or discrimination that exists in the society, creating or changing the behavioral action or the psychological makeup of an individual. So those are all kind of affirmative actions, which are positive actions aiming to make society a equal society, where even people who are differentially able, even people who have a different background can have a equal play in the society. So equality, a very big question is, how do we actually achieve this equality? We have read so much about equality, types of equality, the various theories and concepts under equality, but how do we actually achieve it? We need to bring in equal rights for individual. A child who is born in a family of slum versus a child who is born in an affluent family should be brought to a level playing field in terms of the basic educational qualification. Also, we have to understand there is differences that exist in the society. The very first generation of learners that came had their parents who were either farmers or who were illiterate. However, the students who are coming now are at a much better pace because their parents are literate, their parents are educated, their parents are well off financially. So there has to be an understanding of all these concepts before we understand how and whom to provide the best and equal opportunities. So there have been two contrasting views. The first view talks about treating everyone in an identical manner. Now when we say treating everyone in an identical manner, it focuses on promoting a very simple idea, and that is to promote equality. We are trying to treat everyone in an identical manner, no matter whether he is rich or poor, he is from a higher caste or a lower caste, no matter what, we are trying to treat everyone identically. However, the next theory or the next concept says treat everyone as equal. This means that we are trying to bring in differential or special treatment based on the requirement. So if there is a natural requirement, or if there is a socially produced inequality or a natural inequality that exists, there is where a differential or a special treatment is required. So these two aspects we need to understand very, very clearly. When in a society we need to provide a treatment which is identical to everyone, or a treatment which brings everyone as equal. And there is where we would understand how and when the equality can be better achieved in the society, create a level playing field for all, and wish you a very good luck. We would be continuing many interesting lectures in the political science section. Have a wonderful day ahead.